I rise today in support of this amendment. My amendment directs the Commissioner of the Internal Revenue Service to provide Congress with the quantity and types of weapons, weapon systems, ammunition, explosive devices, armored vehicles, drones, UAVs, and chemical weapons such as tear gas in their possession. Since taking office, the Biden administration has repeatedly attempted to supercharge an already weaponized IRS. According to the watchdog organization Open the Books, the IRS has spent over $35 million since 2006 to stockpile weapons, ammunition, and gear. Nearly 1/3 of this $35 million, or roughly $10 million, has been spent in the last 3 years alone. The report also mentions the purchase of tactical lighting, optical sights, ballistic helmets, and similar items. This is not a new issue, and it is not new to Oklahomans. The late Dr. Tom Coburn, the godfather of oversight and a great Oklahoman, previously raised similar questions and never received adequate responses from the IRS. In July, I sent a letter to IRS Commissioner Daniel Werfel requesting information on this issue, including details on the accounts that the IRS had used to purchase such weapons, gear, and ammunition, and data on the quantity and types of items used in the possession of the IRS. Information on the specific types of modifications to IRS-issued weapons that have been approved, and the number of the requests that have been approved. This is vital information because Part 9 of the Internal Revenue Manual, titled Criminal Investigation, outlines the modifications that can be made to weapons and process for exceptions. Proper oversight dictates that we understand the process and the practice. The IRS still has not replied to my letter. They must be reminded that Congress controls the power of the purse and has oversight authority. Americans are rightly concerned by the IRS's lack of accountability, and they are frustrated that agencies continue to abuse their power. Mr. Speaker, it comes down to transparency. I fully recognize the historical significance of the IRS and their ability to take down criminal entities. However, the IRS needs to tell the American people exactly what capabilities they have. When the IRS audits an American business or individual, they first and foremost must ask for an asset inventory list. If you don't have one, it's a serious problem. So why does the same agency refuse to provide their own asset list? What other materials are stockpiled? This is increasingly concerning as we look at recent funding increases through the so-called Inflation Reduction Act, in which the Biden administration provided millions of dollars to hire tens of thousands of new agents. I would like to remind my colleagues of the strict rules and processes that are in place on our military as it relates to firearms and munitions. Every military commander must keep a detailed and precise record of munitions, both spent and otherwise. They are expected to measure to the ounce and can receive significant punishment if those numbers do not match up. The IRS should be no different. Today, the number of armed federal agents is rapidly approaching the size of the United States Marine Corps. The lines have been blurred between the IRS's role as a regulatory tax agency and a law enforcement agency. The American taxpayers are providing the funding for these assets. The least they deserve is an accounting of their purchases. My amendment provides much-needed transparency on this issue. Thank you, and I yield back.
Both sides yield. The question is on the amendment offered by the gentleman, or pardon me, by the gentlelady from Oklahoma. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. The amendment is agreed to.